Make sure the Instagram good and we good to go. Just making sure this Instagram good. Let's go. All right, GZ. Let's make sure we live. I think we got action. We got action. All right. It is 10 o'clock p.m. That's a little later than I go live, but I had a lot going on today. And I wanted to make sure that um I touched this topic today because I said I would. I'm just trying to hold myself to stuff a little better. Sometimes I would say that I'm gonna do something and then I get busy and then that turned into, well, I'll do it tomorrow. And I'm trying to get out of that habit. That's something that I'm working on personally. And this is one thing that I talked about earlier today. And I wanted to make sure that I held myself to this, even though today turned into a little bit of a longer day than I had planned on it being. With all of that being said, let's get right into the action. So I'm going to make sure you guys get this video. And I want to make sure you guys see why I decided to cover this. Okay. So let me share my screen with y'all, man. I'm not gonna make this a little more than what it gotta be. I want to make sure I share the screen with y'all. Let me make sure it is being shared correctly. I don't want any mishaps. And once we go over this, I will expound on why I'm covering it because technically, um, it's not my personal business, but it's still our business.
Boyd, being first duly sworn by the court to tell the
So
truth,
you guys can
was
see this
examined
now.
and testified upon her oath as follows. Take that seat.
I don't want to make
Thank you.
this
You may
like
proceed.
something where
Good morning. Good
it
morning.
turned into,
Please state your name for the
oh
record.
my God, he said, she said. So we
Arnold
going right
Edward
to the
Boyd
paperwork.
Jr.
I know it's like
Okay.
very
And are you
early
giving testimony here today, Mr.
in
Boyd,
the
pursuant to an
podcast, and
agreement
it's
you
kind
have
of weird,
made
but we
with the
getting right
government?
into the paperwork. You don't necessarily need the sound. I'm not trying to play the sound. I don't want them talking over me. I want to pause here and let you know what's going on. So this is the paperwork. And when people say the paperwork, it doesn't necessarily have to be um, paperwork. This is a video of the testimony that Mr. Boyd gave in the BMF case. In particular, this case, uh, it wasn't just a BMF case. With this particular case, the case that he was like the main defendant in was against Robert M. Seals out of St. Louis, if I'm not mistaken. But basically, this man gave testimony against the whole BMF organization, including the leaders of BMF, Big Meech and T. And basically, what he did was he told everything that he knew. And this was somebody that grew up with him. His brother, what he said in the paperwork was his half brother started selling drugs with the brothers in the late 80s, early 90s. And this man very in-depth information about the cars that they were transporting drugs and money in. He gave very in-depth information about different things that they did, how they mixed the cocaine, how they turned 5 bricks into 6. Everything that they did, this man gave very extensive information. He was a one of the star witnesses in this trial, and he led to a lot of prosecutions. As you can see here, they asked him, well, first after the morning greetings, they asked him what's his name, and you can clearly see here it is Arnold Edward Boyd Jr. This is as clear as day. This is paperwork, and even though it's on YouTube, y'all, it's the actual paperwork. I do have some real paperwork from court filings, but this is the paperwork. There's no discrepancy in that. I just wanted to go through it this way so you were able to see it, and I will leave a link. I will leave a link in let me just grab it from here. I will leave a link in the comments for people that want to check it out on their own time. I am not trying to uh, gatekeep. It is public record. Everything that I'm showing you here is public record, right? You can go right on here and check for yourself. There's been no discrepancies that this is not the paperwork, or if it is, this is the paperwork. This is exactly what happened upon direct examination of Mr. Arnold Edward Boyd Jr. And you will see why I covered this. And some people are not going to like the fact that I covered this because I am familiar with some of his family members. I am also from Southwest Detroit, as Meech, T, and Mr. Boyd are from. They are from the other side of Liddesdale, which is just a street. I'm from Liddesdale in Miami, and they are a little further down. They are in the hole. As you will see in this testimony, he describes what the hole is. But this man basically gave a testimony that he will get a downward departure for his testimony. He was looking at 97 to 121 months. Upon his testimony, he would get 49 to 61 months. And everybody agreed on these terms, including his lawyer, the prosecutor, different people like that. And it goes further down here to say that the final decision would be up to the judge. So they asked him where he was raised. As I just said, we are all from Southwest. This man is from Southwest Detroit. And they were confused because the way he said Southwest Detroit, they didn't know if it was like another city, and he was like, this Detroit. So you see the page is turning, and they were asked about how did he get there, the different indictments, what did he plead guilty, who were these charges in association with, Terry and Demetrius Flannery. It's pretty like self-explanatory what's going on. He talked about how he started in 2002. He was T's personal driver, and then he used to drive from state to state, and then he ended up getting involved in the actual drug dealing. So this just preliminary stuff. It's not anything that
Okay.
that this wasn't
Yes.
all of the information. It was just
Okay. And when
him
was that?
talking about how he got to
This to
be
Terry
a part of the
Flannery.
organization.
Texas
And he
is one
started
of
telling
our main
everything. They was
hubs
talking
that we
about Texas,
utilized
as
for
you can
this
see
source of
here.
drug area,
And I'm
or
not
did
going to
it
spend a
extend
whole
to
lot
other
of time
parts
on
of the
this
country?
paperwork. It's a point that I'm making.
It
This
extended to
man just
several states in the
told
country.
everything
Can
that
you
he knew.
identify some of
He
those
told. He
states,
told
please?
about what they were doing in
Yes.
Kentucky, all the different states,
Detroit,
Detroit, New
New
York,
York,
Washington D.C. He
Washington.
told
So
everything.
we had a lab,
You can
so to
go
speak,
watch this video for
that we
yourself.
did this processing in,
Basically, a
and the lab
summary
had
of
moved to
the
Detroit.
information. So he talked about
So once the
how it
drugs
was
leave the source,
pulling a freak
whether it
coke,
be
how
Texas or
every time he
California,
worked in a
they
lab,
came straight to me
somebody
in
taught him
Detroit.
how to mix it,
Okay.
things like
And
that.
did you actually
Um,
personally
they talked about how
hidden
he
compartments within various cars and
bricks they were able to
limousines?
put in these secret
Can you
compartments.
describe some of it in this
A lot
case
of them knew how
also?
to get into these compartments,
Yes.
and then he could
And
talk
describing the
about
remaining
how
vehicles,
money,
please. They
how
closed with a mechanism
uh,
called
different
actuators,
businessmen helped him
and
get
they
money
also were equipped
just
with a vacuum
for.
machine and 86
This
to
is crazy.
190
So
kilos of cocaine.
so much information. The
And
Volvo
for
could be 20
instance, what
keys,
about the Volvo?
18 to 20, 8 to 10
The
kilos.
Volvo,
As you
we
can
could,
hear, he just gave
there was a
so
time where
much
I seen
information.
it was
This is what
in
I
the
call
8 Mile
witness.
Southfield area of
Talked about
Detroit.
the different houses they used as
Was that anyone's
different
house who was
like that.
associated with
He
this
was
organization?
where they were at in Michigan,
Yes, it's Michael Green's
Hills,
house.
different things like that.
You have already
Um,
testified that there were over
Talked about
hundreds
the
of members.
organization,
What was the
uh,
structure of the
the way that it was
organization?
put together, who was the leaders,
We had Terry and Demetrius
who were
Flannery.
managers and
Under the
co-managers.
leaders are managers.
Um, he
Is that what you
Anybody
became at
who
some
name he
point?
knew, he gave their name.
Yes.
If he knew their nickname, he would
Okay.
say that.
And what about
This is a
any other
very
locations?
extensive
There was Harold
testimony
Wilcox,
and a lot
or
of cooperation.
Wilcox, Gordon King, Randy Steele. Were they also indicted in this
It's
case?
crazy.
Yes.
So it's so much information.
Where else?
He didn't get people
In
indicted,
Atlanta, as I said
but he got
before,
everybody
William Marshall and 50
sent to jail.
acquired.
And he talked about who
Kentucky
made
State,
IDs,
it was.
who did the paperwork. It's
Hold
so
on. Are you going over as well?
just jumping through here
And how do you
give
know
y'all
that they had 10 kilograms of
a
cocaine in
clue
that
of what's
vehicle?
going on.
Okay. Driver also?
He told on his own cousin.
Yes. And who
He was
else?
also a driver. He said this was
I
his
believe
first
his name
cousin.
was Bruce
He's also a
Martin. We
driver.
called
And
him
then
B
who else?
Smooth.
I believe his name is Bruce
Okay. Was
Martin.
he indicted in this case?
And
Yes.
was your cousin
Okay. And was your cousin
Parsons
Charles Parsons?
indicted on this case? Yes.
Okay. Was he
Well,
indicted in
kept
this
going,
case?
kept going, kept going.
Yes.
Told on Nate. Nate
Who else?
just kept going. Just told
Otis
everybody,
Hawkins.
right?
And are you familiar
So
with someone by the name of Derek Paguse?
everything. Talked
Yes,
about
ma'am.
everything from where they
What was his
were at,
role in the
right in
organization?
Bend, where they were at in California,
He was,
Atlanta,
and what else
went
did they do?
so everything, the
They
laboratory,
helped
how they
within the,
whipped the dope up,
and who else?
everything.
Torino
So much
Hightower,
information.
Michael Green,
So
Christopher
this right
Triplett,
here,
Little
he was
Ricky.
saying that
I don't
somebody
recall his
trained
last
him on
name.
how to do it.
That was
It's
Tanesa's
just so much
nephew.
information,
Or name some of the Williams
right?
Wiseman's
So as I
custom made
stated
medallions for the
before, I'm
organization.
not gonna take a whole
And
lot.
how did the
I am leaving the link here for you guys, so you guys can go and do your own research. The link for that paperwork is there for that YouTube video. I also have more paperwork if you're interested in that. Now, back to the matter at hand. Um, the problem is not the problem is not that this man. The problem is not that this man cooperated and he's moving on with his life. The problem is that this man is running for the mayor of Detroit, and my problem is we only look at presidential elections, and we only look at things that the media tell us is important. So the Detroit elections, they're not getting the type of attention they deserve, because it looks like one candidate is running away with this race, and we all know who that candidate is. Well, Mary Sheffield looked like she's running away with the race, so it's not getting all the press coverage that it really deserves because it doesn't look like it's a real race. It doesn't look like it's no reason for it to be a big deal right now, right? Because of the way that it's going. But you have some of these people that are running as independents and write-ins and different things like that. And a lot of these people are just in the way. So what happens when you get in the way is that you take away from somebody that was actually in the race, that somebody that was actually competitive, somebody that could have actually put forth some type of effort to get in that place. And even though you may feel like, hey, it's my race too, or whatever, a lot of times you take votes away from people that could have actually had a chance at winning. And I don't feel like Mr. Boyd is going to win anything, but Mr. Boyd is in the way. And when I seen somebody that I'm familiar with, somebody that I'm actually okay with, in a picture with him, and I knew of this history because of where I'm from, I felt like this was something that had to be addressed because I don't want to see other people running around with this man without knowing this. Now, once the information is put out there, you can make your decision and do whatever you want to do. But this is something that was dear to my heart and that I felt like I should cover because I am a formerly incarcerated person that has changed his life, that has decided to do some things with nonprofits, and at any point I may decide to do something uh, in politics. It could be anything, right? And I don't feel like it's something that's out of my realm. I've done different things and I've ran for different offices in different positions, and I'm not against running And I want to make it clear where I stand on things like this. So with me being a ex felon, with me being an ex convict, with me being a returning citizen, I want to make it clear that I right now I wouldn't middleman a nickel bag of weed. So I'm not in the streets. I'm not online trying to play a street person. But what I want to talk about is what most people forget about these type of people. For somebody to jump on a stand and give information up on guys he grew up with, information up on his own brother, his cousin, it shows that you have a lack of character. It shows that you are a slime ball. It shows that you are a snake. It shows that your only concern is yourself. And if you're running for any type of public office, this is not the type of person that you want in that office. I don't care what the public office was. It could be uh, a superintendent of a school, like, whatever. Like it could be anything. You don't want this person in any type of position. You don't want this person to have any type of power because of the character that they've already shown. And I'm a person that's big on forgiving someone, but in these type of situations, your character is your character. Now, if he was a younger person, let's say he was 14, 15, he got caught joyriding, he didn't know any better, he put on a couple of his friends, I wouldn't have this same conversation. This is not what happened. So 20 years ago, this man was probably 30 years old. He was probably 30 years old. He knew better. He already watched his brother, as he stated, sell drugs with Meech and T and do all of this stuff. This was someone that was old enough to know better. This is someone that was cognizant of the decision that he made, and he still made the decision to be a drug dealer. He still made the decision to help traffic drugs. And when the heat came on him, he switched up on everybody. He told on everybody. Everything that he knew about the organization, the feds knew about the organization. He told on everybody. And that's a problem with me. If you are the type of person that will do dirt with somebody and then turn around and cooperate against them, then you are the type of person that we do not need in anybody's office. We don't need you anywhere near public office because you're the type of person to get in there and only worry about yourself. Only you in there robbing the whatever office you in there doing stuff that's totally against the different things that's for the people. You can say you're for the people. You can't be for the people and for yourself at the same time because things happen and you end up in a position where you have to make a choice. And this man has shown that when in that position, his choice is to fend for self. That is the problem. When people ask me all the time, man, how you have this such a deep seated hatred for cooperation and rats. This is why, because it shows a real character flaw. And I'm too deep in the game. At this point, I've lost people that I call brothers because they cooperated. At this point, I've decided to be on one side of the line and I got to stay there. At this point, I cannot say, okay, you did that, I'm gonna forgive you. It's not the type of position that I'm in my mental state, right? It's not the position that I'm in uh as far as how I look at characteristics and how I judge people. Me having this attitude is exactly what got me to being 40 years old and out and making it out of the streets. Because in the streets, these type of people are the people that set you up, leave you with a hole in your head. These the type of people that send you to jail for the rest of your life. Because these are the people that get close to you and they know everything about you, everything about your organization. And these are the people that you trust with all of your secrets. And then they sit on a stand and tell the world all of your secrets. They tell the world where you hid the dope, how much dope it was, how much money you made. This man sitting there telling you, telling these people how much money he counted with you. So somebody had enough trust with you, within you, to actually count $6 million, and you're on the stand telling everybody. This is the type of person that you should run away from by all means. In any capacity, you shouldn't want to marry a person like this. You shouldn't want to go into business with a person like this. And you definitely shouldn't want this person representing you in any type of political capacity, because this is the type of person that's going to run for the hills. This is the type of person that's going to sell you upstream. This is the type of person that's going to get in the office and do all of the BS that we've watched so many people do and complained about. This is the type of person that's going to take the road money and put it in your pocket. This is the type of person that's going to be in the office stealing from your kids to where they won't even have school lunch anymore. This is the type of person that's going to ensure that everything that you've invested for your entire life is at jeopardy. This is the person that puts those type of things at risk, because this is the type of person that only cares about one person in the entire world, and that's themselves. So when you start to see these type of people on a ballot, you should run away from them and get as far as you can get, because this type of person is the type of person to keep us in the mud. This is the type of person that kept us enslaved. A lot of people don't see the similarities. This is the type of person to where you said, okay, we're gonna hatch a plan to get off this plantation and we're gonna do X, Y, and Z. Y'all be leaving Sunday night. Sunday morning, the slave masters come in, raid the whole plantation, and he's the only one left standing, because this is the type of person Mr. Boyd is. This is the type of person that you have to stay away from because your life depends on it. Not because it's popular or because you don't want to judge people and God said give them a second chance. No. A lot of slave revolts ended before they started because of people like Mr. Arnold Edward Boyd Jr. And this is the type of person that we don't need anywhere near a political office. This is my problem. This is the issue I have with people that cooperate, send people to jail. And this man sent dozens of people to jail. If you are a law-abiding citizen and something happens and you call the police, that is what you pay your taxes for. You have the right to do that. If you are a criminal and you have decided to put your life into, you're in this lifestyle and you have all of these people around you that trust you impeccably, if they're counting $6 million with you, if they're sending you out of town with millions of dollars in cars, these people trust you. They trust you with their life, they trust you with their life savings, they trust you with their money. And then you sit on a stand and you start pointing them out one by one. Some of them you actually pointed them out because they were in the courtroom. And that is a character flaw that needs to be addressed the right way. And you don't have to run around killing cooperators and rats and all that. I am not promoting that, but we cannot act like it ain't what it is, because it definitely is what it is. This man told on half the organization and now he wants to run for office. I already knew the story and I was cool with it. I didn't even realize he was running for office until a couple of days ago. Maybe yesterday or the day before, whatever. I seen that he was running for office. Um, and it like popped on my timeline because it was people that I'm familiar with. Some of these people I talk to regularly, and they were like in pictures with him and on flyers with him. And I'm like, dog, dude is really running around here like he ain't what he is. And once the information is public, like right now, I'm talking about it. And if some of these guys ask me, I'm gonna respond. But once you have the information, you do as you please with it. But I wanted to make sure that I address this because this is something that's dear to my heart. People, if you are a government witness, you are a cooperator, a rat, a snitch, anything like that, go live your life in the shadows. You should not be out here all in public, parading around, trying to get in office, doing all this extra stuff, and you a stone cold rat, and you just sent all these people to jail away from their family. Now, if these people did something to you and you were not involved in criminal activity, I don't have a problem with you calling the police and making statements and testifying, but you are a criminal. You have chosen your side, and then you go to jail and tell on everybody because you want 50% off of your time. That is a horrible person. That is a despicable person. That is a person who doesn't deserve to be anywhere in public office. And that's the case that I'm making. That's the case that I'm making. If you are running for public office, then this is a conversation that must be had. And I don't care if like I said, I know some of his family. I don't care if y'all feel a certain way. Your uncle a rat. Your uncle a rat. If my uncle was a rat, my uncle just be a rat. If my dad was a rat, he'd just be a rat. Your uncle's a rat. It just is what it is. So this is like I said, technically it's not my business. I know personal interest into Mr. Boyd, but my interest is the fact that you're running for mayor of my beautiful city. And we're on an upswing. We're trying to do things right. And to be honest, he probably don't have a chance. I don't think too many. It's probably nobody. It's literally one runaway candidate that's probably pulling about 70% of the votes or something crazy right now. And we don't have to argue about who's gonna be in the office at this point. I don't know if something crazy could happen before the votes are actually cast, but right now it's looking like a runaway election for Mary Sheffield. Just look like it's a runaway election. But with this particular person, I just wanted to make sure that this was stated and that people understand how I feel. And it's kind of dear to me because I'm from Southwest and I know some of the people close to this situation. And actually, some of them reached out to me. The video was sent to me from somebody that's actually involved in the case personally. And I don't want to give him a shout out or nothing, but the much love to my guy for blessing me with that. I didn't know that video was up there. I did have some paperwork, but I didn't have all of that particular um testimony. But it was good to watch the video and be able to see exactly what was said. And it's verbatim, is in writing, is verbatim. The man told on everything, and now you want to run for mayor. Go sit down somewhere, Mr. Boyd. Go sit down, live your life, and relax. If you want to go be the principal of a charter school or something, that's cool, but you don't need to be in nobody public office. Go sit down somewhere. Like, go sit down. These snitches are running around the city acting like they haven't told, and it's giving people the wrong energy because now you have some of these young guys who feel like they can go and tell, and some of these guys are going to end up places that they don't want to be, and then some of these guys are going to end up in jail where they being pushed around, and even though they're telling you that, oh, it's okay, and the Fed's going to tell you don't worry about it, you will go into situations where they demand paperwork and your paperwork ain't right. It will get hard for you. It will get hard for you. So don't believe the hype. But I'm not going to keep you guys too much longer. I addressed it. If anybody have a problem with it, so be it. I do not tell any lies. I'm not picking on anybody. This man is running for mayor. This is his past. This is something that should be available to the public and should be open to be discussed in the public because you're a rat. It is what it is. You're a rat. It could be 20 years ago, 25 years ago, whatever amount of years ago it is. You are a rat. As I stated before, if you're a law-abiding citizen, if you were a child, 13, 14, something happened to you. If you like it's I am not a person that believes just because you made a statement or anything that you are some type of rat. I'm not that person that feel I got a lawsuit pending right now. I done had a PPO on somebody before because they was trying to get one on me. So I don't, I'm not that person. One thing nobody's ever going to say about me is that I did anything to anybody, sent anybody to jail, made any statements. I've caught 2 cases as a dog. I've never made a written statement, oral statement, any type of statement. I've done all of my time. I've copped out, and I'm the person that fully believes that if you do something wrong, you do the time. If you are a law-abiding citizen, it is okay. If you file a police report right now, if somebody hit my car that I pay insurance on, I have to file a police report to get this insurance claim. I am not somebody that's so extreme that I feel like, oh my God, if you talk to police, my kids, I do CVI work, which is community violence intervention, and we work with the police. I took a picture the other day to where I showed a picture of them walking with us as we did a community walk about a week or so ago, and and it was people on there like, dang, that's what's up. So my kids see me actually like a sergeant that's like he run the youth football league and he's familiar with us and what we doing with CDI. And so he asks me questions sometimes they start in the basketball league. And my son seen me talking to him and Cinco was like, Dad, why you talking to the police? I said, son, it's not the lifestyle we live in anymore. It's not, I don't got nothing to tell them. I don't know nothing. It's not that type of situation. We are doing what we doing for the community. We trying to make everything better. So I'm not a person that believes it's not some type of some type of capacity that we all can work together and coexist. I am not a person that believe F the police and all of that. I'm big on public safety and it take policing for us to be safe. So I want to make that clear. So, with the community violence intervention groups throughout the city of Detroit, we are pushing to lower the crime rate. It's a bunch of us. Some of us are very big. Some of us have big following. Some of us are a little more low key, but we all doing the work. We have meetings and dancing about the reducing the violence in the city. So I'm big on that. That's something that I'm very passionate about, and I love what I'm doing, and I love what I'm doing for the community, and I love the fact that I actually can have some type of positive input on what's going on within the city of Detroit. So I'm making it clear that I'm not that person, but a spade is a spade. This man cooperated and sent dozens of people to prison. He sent dozens of people to prison. And what make you think you can turn around and run for mayor? Your character is so flawed that you don't deserve to look anywhere near public office. That's how I feel. Your character is scum. You are the scum of the earth. That's how I feel. You are the scum of the earth. If you can run around with somebody, do dirt with them for years, and then tell on them, you telling on your brother, your cousin, anybody else, you telling on people, mama, you got to read the paper. He just told on everything. Told it was so much information. They probably ran out of paper and ink. They probably ran out of everything. Like, so at this point, I don't want to beat this dead horse, but I wanted it to be clear where I stand on this. If you are the type of person to go do dirt with somebody, any type of dirt, and you are of the age where you know better, you have to live with that. You have to take that to the grave. They can forgive you. I seen a guy that I grew up with. Um, is anybody from my hood? They familiar that Jay Reese was like my little brother. Right? This is somebody that I took under my wing. This was somebody that was like, he would tell you, like, this is my big brother. And he cooperated. And when I got the proof that he cooperated, I let him know that our relationship is null and void. Nothing, we don't have to have any more conversation. He ended up writing me a letter because he was in jail, and man, da, da, da. And it was over. It was nothing else to talk about. It's nothing else to talk about. You are a person that was with somebody that you knew or do what he did, and when he did it, you were in court pointing at him. I have a problem with that. I have a problem with that. I don't care the extent of our relationship. It could be my blood brother. And how I came to that conclusion was I actually asked my blood brother, who was very close with this guy. I say, bro, if I did what he did, would you mess with me? He said, no. I said, I wouldn't mess with you either. So it is what it is. There's nothing else to talk about. People are lowering their standards because sometimes it benefits them. People are lowering their standards because this is somebody dear to them. People now, if my brother was a rat, I don't mind seeing him at family functions. That's cool. But there will be no personal relationship. That's how I feel. I can't explain it any better than that. If my brother was a rat, he didn't have to tell on me. If my brother was a rat, just in general, if my brother snitched on somebody and I knew that my brother was a rat, I'm not beefing with my brother. I don't want to kill my brother, but I don't want to have a personal relationship with my brother because I feel like you a snake. I don't know when you gonna come for my neck. You can nurse a snake back to health. A snake is still gonna bite you because a snake is a snake. Snakes and rats have no backbones. So this makes this type of person very scary. And you can continue to be a fool, even if this is your friend. Oh, Jackpot talking about my friend, Jackpot tripping, Jackpot this and that. But you got to watch yourself. If a person will sit around you, make a few 100,000 or a million or two, three, four, $5 million with you for the course of a few years, and then sit on a stand and tell all your business, tell your kids' names, what month they were potty trained in, what. Listen, bro, this person is a problem. That's my problem with rats and snitches or whatever you want to call them. They have no backbone. You don't know what they're going to do. They are only out for self. And at any time, your head can be on the guillotine. You got to pay attention to these types of people. They don't care about you. They don't care about your family. They don't care about anything you have going on. All they care about is getting their own ass out of trouble. And that's a problem. And that's not somebody we need in a public office. Right? I'm not gonna sit here all night. It's late. I just wanted to make sure I did this live and I gave y'all exactly what I promised y'all. If it's anybody that got any gripes, you can leave it in the comments. It doesn't bother me one way or another one. I feel how I feel about snitches and rats, and that's just the way that I feel about it.